It's the moment you've all been waiting for. What do I recommend for a home Cisco lab? By the time we're done here, we will plan the ideal home lab environment for those studying for the Cisco CCNA certification. I'm not going to repeat a lot of the other things I said in this skill, but let me give you a high-level view. No, you don't have to have a physical lab environment to learn Cisco, but yes, it will help a ton. My goal is to try and keep the budget costs low because I realize what it's like to buy a whole bunch of expensive equipment when you're already paying for training and everything else that's going on. So I'm going to give you multiple options, and then I'm going to show you what I used when I built the CCNA lab that I'm using to create the CCNA series at CBT Nuggets, right? So let's start off with the routers. I've broken them down into ultra cheap, mostly cheap, and then my favorite. Now, one of the things that happened last time I created Cisco training and talked about building a home lab environment that I didn't realize is there's so many thousands of people that take CBT Nuggets training around the world that when I recommend models of devices to buy, the demand, it's a supply and demand. There could be a whole capitalism study just based on this one thing. Supply and demand, all of a sudden, a lot of people started going after these and the prices of the things that I recommend went up. So what I'm going to try and do is give you a general feel of what you should pay for these devices. And if you're like, whoa, that's way higher, then that's why. So see if you can find another model. Like I said, there's so many different models out there. Go to the forums, go to threads. There's people that talk about this. They'll be like, hey, I'm taking Jeremy's CCNA. And they'll actually say what other lab. And so Google around to find some of the other ones. But here's where I'm at right now. In the ultra cheap world, you've got the 1700 series of Cisco devices. The reason that I like these is because they're extraordinarily quiet, meaning the fan, you can't hear it all, which again, and I've mentioned this multiple times in this skill, is very nice when you're in a lab environment. You don't want to hear that constant whir. Also, the Cisco 2611, it is a 2600 series router with 2 Ethernet ports, 10 megabits per second. Yeah, really slow by today's standards, but great for a lab environment. One of the things that I'll warn you about when you buy these things used is your shipping and handling will probably be more than the cost of the device itself. And people that do free shipping will actually inflate that. I would say you could probably pick one of these up if I was bargain shopping, somewhere between $5 and $20 for the device itself, and then whatever shipping you can haggle or finagle between whoever you're buying it. Mostly cheap. These are actually, if I were to say, get these would be the ones I would get. Meaning, these are the ones that have a lot of features. These are the ones that have the capacity and the speed to support a lot of the networks of today. So you could use them in a production environment in your home, kind of, I say production, but in your home to actually route your internet connection and still get decent speed out of it, right? So Cisco 2621, same thing as the 2611, but increases the speed to 100 megabits per second. The 2801, depending on which version of it that you buy, they've released multiple versions over the years, takes that, these are the 2 Ethernet ports, takes that to 1,000 megabits per second or gigabit connection speed, right? This router served me well. I still have one to this day sitting in my rack of equipment that I use for my house. Tons of features, tons of capability. But my favorite that I love because you get the benefit of the quiet fan noise, super ultra quiet, like barely can hear it at all, plus gigabit Ethernet, plus enough room for expansion that you can put serial ports and other interfaces in there without having the need for a whole bunch of other modules that you add in. Cisco 1921. Oh, by the way, these should probably run you, I'd say $40 to $80 for, as you get into the 2801. This guy, actually, I found the one that I'm using right now over in the pod of equipment. That's this guy right here for, I want to say $30. $30. That's really, honestly not bad. So $30 plus shipping and handling. I think I ended up paying $45 to get one of these in the rack. Super great router. Now let's talk about the switches. The cheap ones are the Cisco Catalyst 2950 and 3550. Again, remembering this is a layer 2 switch. This is a layer 3 switch. This one can do routing. This is an example of a 3550. Again, I've used those for years. It's served me well. You probably can pick this or this up for, I would say, $20 for a switch. There's different flavors of this that actually support power over Ethernet. Also, I should be aware, power over Ethernet is an industry standard, meaning all kinds of devices of the world use it. That little webcam that I have sitting over on the desk by that phone over there. Oh, the phone, it uses power over Ethernet. Industry standard. Cisco got there before the rest of the world and created their own. So when you buy these, look out for power over Ethernet that is called inline power. It's often called Cisco inline power. That will not power today's devices. It'll only power typically Cisco proprietary devices that use that power. So if you buy that, you're like, oh, I can power things. You won't be able to power things. My favorite that I use is the Catalyst 2960, which is actually, if I were to jump my camera over here to Nevada, the land of dinosaurs, this guy right here, you've got 24 or 48, depending on which version of the switch you buy, 10 100 ports, so 100 megabit per second interfaces, and a couple gigabit Ethernet uplinks, as well as some ports for SFPs sitting right here. So if you need fiber optic connectivity or you want to test that, you can install some SFP modules and get that. The Catalyst 3750 is my favorite layer 3 switch, which, again, jumping back here, shoop all the way back to Arizona. The 3750 are these two silver guys right here. Again, SFP connections over here. These are your gigabit Ethernet connections. The big reason I like these guys is because they support something called StackWise. StackWise allows you to combine multiple switches together into a single stack and manage them as one device. Super fun and functional switch. So for these guys, you're probably looking, I would say, if you're bargain shopping, I can't remember. I think I paid around $60 a piece for each one of these. $29.60 I ended up getting for $20. Again, not a deal breaker at all. You're probably going to pay more for shipping than you will for the switch itself. So now let me land the plane with the physical lab topology that I'm going to use for the CBT Nuggets CCNA series all the way through. There are going to be 3 separate offices, Arizona being the headquarters office, connecting over here to Nevada and Florida. If we unpack the topology a little bit more, you can see that in Arizona we have a headquarters router connected to 2 core switches, or will be connected to 2 core switches by the time it's said and done, connected to an access switch. So these, well, actually, I'll show you the model numbers in just a second. Over in Florida land, we have another router that bridges to a Metro E connection. That's essentially a private connection, linking these 3 offices together. Same thing in Nevada, router bridging into the Metro E. All these sites getting their internet access through Arizona. Each one of these locations has a more detailed network diagram that we'll be building as we go. Here's the physical equipment. And I should clarify, after my kids got to it. Arizona has a whole bunch of snakes, cactus, 2 Catalyst 3750s, that's these guys right here. 1 Catalyst 3550, that's this guy. This is the access switch. These are the core switches. Think of this as like the backbone of the network that everything connects to. 1 Cisco 1921 router, that's this guy right here, that bridges not only to the internet, that's the red cable, but also to the Metro E Cloud, that's the blue cable, and connects to the internal LAN, that's the yellow cables. 1 to core switch 1, 1 to core switch 2. This, by the way, is an HWIC 4 ESW. This adds a built-in switch to the router. Then, right above it are the 2 wireless access points. These are lightweight access points, which means in themselves they have no intelligence. They can't do anything. They need a controller to give them a brain, to tell them what their configuration is. Then they will begin serving clients. I've also purchased a wireless LAN controller, a 2106. Total cost of this pod of equipment, roughly $200. You could probably beat that price, or you might pay more depending on your eBay shopping savviness. And I should clarify, everything that I've bought is from eBay. Next up is the land of Florida, with the California raisins taking a little vacation. You noticed that. 1 Cisco 2960 sitting right there, and 1 Cisco 2621 XM router. What's the XM? You can see it very small right there. The XM it's essentially enhanced. It gives it more processor capacity, more memory capacity. And what that translates to is it allows you to run iOS versions that support a lot of the advanced features like IP version 6, OSPF, a lot of the advanced features that one of the 2611 may not be able to support. But that being said, don't let that stop you from buying a 2611 if that's all you can afford, because you can do 99% of the stuff. Really, the XM just kind of makes it run faster. And our last stop is Nevada, which has one Cisco 2960 series switch. You can see there the SFP ports and gigabit Ethernet ports down here. These, by the way, are known as shared interfaces. Meaning, if you use the copper, the Ethernet connections right here, you won't be able to use the SFP, the fiber connection above, or if you use the fiber connection, you won't be able to use the copper connection. I've got another Cisco 2621 router, one connection going to the Metro E, one connection right up there to the internal LAN. I've got 14 dinosaurs, which I posted this on Twitter, and you wouldn't believe how fast people responded. They're like, there's only 13 dinosaurs there. True, 13 that you can see. There's going to be a dinosaur that jumps out from behind that sign later on and actually causes a network outage. I'm going to title the slide something like, is your network dinosaur proof? Now you notice I have one Metro E switch and one internet switch. That's these guys. This is my Metro E switch. I think I paid $5 from that from like monoprice.com or some really cheap place. It's a 100 megabit per second switch just to simulate or emulate the Metro E connections by the service provider. This is actually, I love this switch. This is a Cisco SG300. So there's a lot of vendors that have come out with equipment that is really price competitive, namely Hewlett-Packard, HP. And Cisco was like, man, we've got to create some stripped down versions to compete with these guys. And so they did. It's the SG200 for layer 2 and SG300 series. Small business switches. It's not the iOS, but it's iOS-ish. Either way, I have a lot of fun with those switches. So the SG300 10P, this is Power over Ethernet. This is actually bringing the internet connection in to not only Arizona, which is over to the left, but also to my computer that I'm talking to you on right now. Now, I know if things happen like they did before, that by time you're watching this, hundreds of other people have also watched it and have gone out to buy that same equipment, and it causes that supply and demand thing of the price going up. Don't feel like you have to get the identical equipment that I have there. Mix it up. Use some of the other routers I showed you in some of the other videos to supplement or find some lower price stuff. Or if you can find great deals on exactly that gear, then you should do it. I bet you, because I saw this happen before, people will start putting together CBT Nuggets equipment packs where you might just go to eBay and, they'll probably be pirating our stuff as well. But you go to eBay and type in CBT Nuggets, and they'll probably put together lab topologies that you can buy pre-made that may save you some money with people bundling together the equipment. So either way, we have now seen what I would consider the ideal home lab environment for those studying for a Cisco CCNA certification. And the great news is you can actually use the stuff that I showed you there to run a home network in totality. So when you're done with your CCNA, you can take that right over to your home environment, set up all kinds of cool stuff. All that being said, I hope this has been informative for you. I'd like to thank you for viewing.